What's going on, folks? Bienvenue. My name is Wade, and this is Sabine River Valley. Well, we got a lot of stuff to do today. I've got 24 tons of rock coming tomorrow, and I've just got a lot of stuff to do to get prepared for that. So I went to warm up the T-Boss and came across a little bit of an issue. And let me show you what I'm working with. So I opened up the door and I noticed that the latch didn't feel real comfortable. It's wiggling around, and so I just reached up and started messing with it, and I don't think that's supposed to happen. And if you look at it, you get a good look at it, you can see that the where the screws, bolts, what do we call this? Bolts went in for this, has rusted out. Now, I'm not super excited about this. Let me tell you, I love this is a Massimo T-Boss 550, and I love it. I use it every day. It's probably one of the most used pieces of equipment out here on our farm. But since I bought this thing, I've just noticed that I have just rust issues popping up. And I'll show you a couple. So if you come over here, you've got, I don't know if you can see that, but you've got just random screw heads rusting through. There's rust all down in these crevices where screws would go. A really good one to look at is right here on my windshield. If you can see this, the gas strut on this, on the ends, is rusted on both sides. And it's on both struts have done the same thing. So I've got just, a number of little rust issues like that. Down here, right in here, I've got a pretty good amount of rust around that. That might be okay. That might be more surface rust. I don't know. But trying to think if there's anywhere else that just really stands out. Just all these screw heads have rust in them. Let's see if I can get you a view of this. Shine some light on the situation. I put one of the rear view mirrors on to my T-Boss, and I took out, when I did it, I didn't have any screws, so I took out one of the screws from here. You'll notice that these are, I think you can see that. If you'll notice, these are two different screws. I took out one set and from each side, and I put those into the rear view mirror because they fit. And then I think it's these bottom ones that I replaced. I bought some on Amazon and replaced those later. But if you can see, those screws are just, they look terrible. So, it's just kind of all over this thing, just rust everywhere. So, this thing gets used outside, right? We keep it in the garage as much as possible. In fact, last year we had a big hailstorm, and I had this in the garage, and both me and my wife's vehicles this was at our rental. The garage was much smaller, and me and both our vehicles were outside, and we got major hail damage on our vehicles because this thing was inside the garage. So, I don't know. It's just, is that normal? I mean, are y'all seeing the same things? You know, if you own a T-Boss 550 or a T-Boss 560 or any of the T-Boss line, are you seeing the same thing? Now look, again, I love my UTV here. This thing has been great. I have, other than the rust, I have no complaints out of this. When I first got it, it was a little hard to shift gears, but 10 hours that smoothed out. It was 10 hours, 30 miles, somewhere around there. That smoothed out. I don't have that problem anymore. It's smooth. It's really good. So that was the only other thing that kind of worried me when I got it, but I don't have any issues with that anymore at all. So the rust is really the only problem I have. Everything else, this thing has been a great asset for us. And, I want it to remain a great asset for us, but I don't want things falling off, and you see the rust and stuff here. And I think what happens is, so this gets, shut for this to latch. And there's a lot of force being applied to that often. Every time you get in and out of it, you're applying force to this, right? And I think this rusted area, I think that force on it is, took more of a toll than rust most other places. That's just my guess. So anyway, I'm going to attempt to fix this though. And I'll show you how, but I'm going to attempt to weld this up and get it repaired. And I am by no means a welder at all. I've got a small multi-function welder that I love. I love it. I absolutely love it. I use flux core a lot. I don't really have any gas bottles yet, but I use flux core for that purpose. But I've been doing a lot of stick welding with it, arc welding, and that's quickly become one of my favorites. Just to be able to fix something and do something pretty well. My welds are not pretty. They're kind of ugly. The whole grinder and some paint makes you the welder that you ain't. Really applies to me. But they're good welds. They hold. They're just ugly. But I'm going to attempt to fix this. There's a way that I'm going to weld this that I have seen. I've never done. I've wanted to try for a long time. So I'm going to let you watch me as I attempt this, and we're going to see if it's an epic fail or a success. And hopefully it is the latter. So anyway, all right, well, let's get going and see if we can get this repair done and get the T-Boss 550 back in service. Let's see. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the door off because I want to put this on my table over there to weld it. So let's just find us the right size. Right size socket. There we go. What is that? I can't see. I'm telling y'all, I'm as blind as a bat. What are we doing? All right, let's get this on. All right. Now, what I was trying to do was actually trying to do an oil change video on this. I want to change the oil out and filter, and that's when I came in here to start working on that. Actually, I was going to go, I had to do something with it first, but the plan was to do the oil change today. And so I figured that fixing this should take precedence over the, is that how you say that? To take. I figured fixing this was more important. Once we get this fixed, then we'll do the oil change. Ooh, man. Come on. Hey, look at that. All right. Let's find that. So these doors are on some type of hinge system. Must be a metal clip back there, and that's a different size. No, the same size. Okay. All right. Good thing is there's no rust on these. It just, I don't understand. It's, you know, if I'm getting rust on things, I would expect to see it everywhere, and it's only on certain bolts that I'm seeing it on, certain areas, you know, on that strut and stuff. So anyway, so when you take this off, there's a hinge piece. Oh yeah, there's rust down in the, I don't know if you can see that, but there's rust around this in here. I'm gonna have to look at that. But you could, yep, there's rust. You can see here. Look at that oxidation on all of that. That's terrible. Man, maybe I need to go through this and just replace hardware on it. But so you got a little hinge system here. I don't know if I could have just taken that off, but if you take these two off, then this just slides down. You don't have to take the bottom one off. That's my point. So all right, let's get this over to the table and we'll start looking at it. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to hit this with a grinder and just you know, take off this rust as much as I can, and I'm going to build this back up with weld. That's the plan, and then I will drill and tap new holes in it. Now, how am I going to fill this back up? So again, I am not an expert at this, but I have watched an expert on YouTube, and I've watched some non-experts on YouTube. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stick here, and I'm going to lay this across this, and I'm going to, let's see, and I might, when I grind this down, I might open that up just a hair more, where this fits in almost like it. I don't want it to go all the way through, but I want it to be kind of centered on that. So the actual metal in the rod is kind of right there. And I'm going to weld down this with another rod. I'm going to use another stick, and I'm going to go down this. And I'm going to create my material off of the stick I'm using and a second stick. Then, once I get that all the way through, I'll get all the holes filled in, you know, and I'll do the same thing on this one. And then I'll come back and I will take a grinder and I'll grind this down to where it's, you know, it's flat and smooth. And that's when I'll drill my holes. So hopefully I will have enough material there. Now, this might not work. I completely understand that. This might not work. If it doesn't, the reason I'm doing this is because this is pretty thin, this material, and I am kind of worried about that. But I can cut this off and put another plate of material in here and then weld that on. If what I'm going to do now, the quick and dirty don't work, then we'll go to plan B, and that's what we'll do there. If you notice that I have not taken it out of the plastic, I don't plan on taking it out of the plastic. I'm hoping that I can get away with this without having to remove this from the shell. And I'll watch it real closely when I start. If I see anything where it looks like it might be causing some problems with this, I will definitely take it out at that point. So, all right, well, let's grab the grinder. By the way, I'm using a Hercules Harbor Freight special. This grinder's been super good. Super good, is that right? No, it's been super useful for me. It's just the 4.5 inch size. And let's see. I'm gonna throw some weight on this, so this will lay down. So yeah, and I've just got a regular old grinding wheel on here. So if you're looking for these, you can get them from Joe Main. His number is in the description. And while you're at it, grab you some Wood-Mizer parts, because he's a dealer now. All right, let's get up and get going. All right, there was some pitting on this, and I went ahead and went down enough to get that pitting out. Man, we'll see. I mean, I think I got it all out. But you know, I ground more material than I wanted to right there. But I'll try to build that. I'll try to build it up a little as I go. So, all right, well, let's get the welder on it. So I got to thinking, I probably should lay out a template that I can come back to that shows me where my holes are, so I can get them pretty close. So that's what I'm doing here. I got me just some blue tape and I've got it laid out in a way where I will be able to stick it back down and know exactly where those holes were. So, all right. So, I also went ahead and cleaned this up over here so I could get me a good ground. This looks like that they put an insert in here and welded that in. And that's what, because I was thinking about how thin this metal was. And I don't think you'd have it, you know, you're not going to be able to get something that you can actually screw in. So I wonder if I need to, man, let me think about this for a minute, because, you know, I'm gonna have to have enough material for this screw to be able to, or this bolt to be able to thread in through and, you know, have the rigidity to hold that, you know, there. Because again, this piece wiggles, you know, or not wiggles, but like the part that it connects to is hanging way over here, right? There's like leverage over on this side. And so anytime that this shuts, you're going to have some type of movement there, and you're going to work on that, right? You're going to work on that every time you're moving. And if that's too thin, that's just not going to, that's not going to work. I mean, really the best possible thing would probably be to cut this off and put a plate in there, and then I could build. I've got, let's see, I'll grab it and show you. So I got a piece of equipment a while back, and it was in a steel crate. And, you know, I kept all that because I thought maybe I could use that. So I could, you know, I could cut, you know, a piece out of this, and then cut it along here, right? It's this angle iron, and then, well, you know, weld that together, basically close that in, and make it the thickness of both of those, which, I mean, well, just the thickness of that is let me see. No, both of those together would be that thickness of that. So if I, you know, closed that together, welded that down, and then welded that into place, I think that would be thick enough, at least to be what it was. But let me think about this for a minute. I'll come back to you let me go grab me something to drink and just kind of ponder. I'll be back. All right, so it is a new day, and I have slept on it, what I want to do with this, and I've decided that I don't like the thickness of this material here. It's just, I just don't like the thickness of the material. And even with, you know, I showed you this bar that I have here. This bar is, let's see, It's 1/8 thick. 1/8 inch. Yeah. 1/8 inch thick. So even going through that, there's not a whole lot of material. And if you look here at the kind of the insert that was welded into this originally, it's probably, let's see, actually I had measured it, so I think it's about 1/4 inch thick here. It is 1/4 inch thick. So that's a lot more material, right? And so what I'm going to do, this is what I've decided to do. I'm going to give up on this. I'm not going to do what I was planning on doing there. I'm not going to come in with a stick, you know, and I'm not going to use a stick and just go across that and fill that in and then drill new holes. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to use that bar. So what I've done is I've gone out and bought me a piece of 1/4 inch flat stock, right? So that meets the size of this. And I'm just going to cut me a piece, you know, off here, and I'm going to weld it. I'm going to cut it to size and just weld it on here across. And, you know, this here is like, I don't even know if it's a millimeter thick. So it'll add about 1 millimeter of thickness to what was already on there. But I'm okay with that. That's such a small amount. The tolerances on this, that's not gonna hurt that. But I'm just gonna weld this plate onto here. Then I'm gonna use my template that I made for where the holes go and just put it over that. Drill me some holes through there, and then I will drill me the right size, and I'll put threads in those. So that's my plan. So I think this is gonna be much better to just weld this piece into place, you know, hopefully that will give me you know, a good long. I'll paint it. Make sure that there's no rust, nothing that can rust there. I did go out, and when I bought that, I bought me some, these are M6 screws. They're the same size. They are actually a little less. I was looking at this. They are a little shorter than these, because those, if you see here, it can't even go to the bottom there. These go just to the bottom, but whenever you put you know, I know you're going to put this plate on. I got some stainless steel lock washers also, and when you put this plate on, let's see what size it is. It looks like it's a 10 gauge. Is that right? Nope, it's 3/16. So it's 3/16 thick. So that'll, you know, so I've got to go through that and the lock washer to lock this down. But these will give me plenty of room, and I don't have to be worried at all about bottoming out on this. This was, I mean, it was, you know, I guess it doesn't matter if you can get it, you know, if it doesn't do it, but this was right there. I mean, these barely fit, these original ones. So this should be better, but it's also stainless steel. So I don't want the bolts themselves rusting, because you can see here that these are definitely, they've got rust on them all the way down, corrosion all the way down the threads. The ones for my rear view mirror I showed you have that too. And I'm gonna go get, I think they're M6. I bought me So I bought enough to do both doors, because I'm probably going to do this on both doors, because if it's happening on this side, the other door doesn't shut as much as the driver's side, but if this was happening on this side, I've got a feeling it's happening on the other side. So I'm gonna, the plan is to do this on both sides. So I've got enough screws for that, but I'm gonna take one of those screws out of the rearview mirror. I'm gonna take a screw out, or I guess these are bolts, right? So I'm gonna take bolts out, rearview mirror. I'm gonna take them out of the windshield area, and I'm gonna make sure I've got the right size, and then I'm gonna replace those that you see the rust happening on. I'm going to replace those with some stainless steel, I think, bolts. You know, I'm always confused about what bolts to use, you know, what hardware to use when you don't want it to rust. I know that you can paint, but if you've got something that you might have to take in and out, right, you're going to, you know, just a tool in there is going to scratch that up. So you'd have to paint it. You'd have to put it in, tighten it up, then paint it, and then never touch it again. Because anytime you touch it, you know, you're gonna mess that paint up, and you could have an area that could rust, and then you got to put more paint on it. So I never know which ones are the right ones to use when you're, you know, when you don't want rust. I'm pretty sure stainless steel is going to be fine for this, but you never know how stainless reacts with other, you know, with non-stainless metal. I don't know. I don't know about all that. And so if you do, you can leave a comment. That would be great and informative for everyone else. But I feel like the stainless steel hardware for this is going to work. And then stainless steel is expensive. This cost me a couple bucks. You know, these are pretty small, so it cost me a couple bucks. If that's all it, you know, cost me, this bar was not a couple bucks. It was a few dollars. But if that's all it cost me to get this up and working and it'll last, then I'm good with it. So yep. So I'm going to grind off a little bit more of this this paint down the side here, since now I am going to be you know, tacking it on here, and I'm not going to cut this out. I am gonna leave it there. I hope that's okay. But and then we'll and you know, and then I'll put that on. So all right, let's get to it, and let's get this done. So I'll let you see this. This is just a Hercules bandsaw and one of the stands that you can get from Harbor Freight. I use this a lot, actually, and I really like it. So I'll get y'all set up so y'all can see all this. Boy, that's way off. Measure once, cut twice, right? All right. I'm going to cut the other one off. Good. That will work. All right, I got everything set up here. Got it grounded. Got I'm using 332 7018 rods. That's what I got. So I guess it's just go time. Let's see what we get. All right. So as you can see, and probably guess if you know anything about welding, I was burning through this thin metal. This thing here is on. I got enough around it. I mean, it is ugly. It's real ugly. But I think that will hold. I think I'm going to take some like JB Weld and fill this in. And I'm gonna grind it out. Take some JB Weld, fill it in, and then we'll see if it looks like it'll hold or not. Mix this up. We're going to go with that. And we're going to have to give that time to dry, of course. But we'll see what that looks like in the morning. All right. All right, so it's the next day, and I put some filler in that hole where I burned through. I burned through up here. It wasn't at where this is welded on to. So the weld did pretty good. I am not going to give you a close-up of that because I do not want to completely embarrass myself. I will tell you that it was ugly, but it is solid. There was good penetration. When I first started, I just had the amperage too high on that. And I mean, you know, I don't do this that often yet, so it was just a mistake I made. But I did know, immediately I knew. Immediately I looked down and went, oh no, I did not adjust my amperage. So I took that down to, I think I took it down to around 40 amps whenever I actually started doing the rest of it, and it did pretty good. I went ahead and filled in also because I didn't want to take the chance of trying to run that bead all the way down. So I did on the end, I did one here, and then the same thing on this end, and the same thing on this side, and then I just filled in some stuff with the rest of that. It looks fine. I think, you know, once it gets painted, this thing, you're never going to know, and I do not think that this will. I mean, it's on there. It's welded on, so I don't think this is coming off at all. So I've got M6x1 bolts here that I'm going to be using, and so that means I need a 5mm hole in here that I can tap. So I went ahead and did I drilled a pre-hole just a second ago, and I did that at what is this? Where am I at? Like a 2.5mm hole. So I'm going to step it up to 5mm, and then we'll tap that. I'll stick something down in it, and then we'll put some paint on it, and then we'll go from there. One thing I don't have, I really wish I had, I don't have a drill press. So I've been looking at one of those for a long time, a couple years, and I just don't have one yet. I mean, I'm almost to the point where I'm just going to go buy a Bauer from Harbor Freight. But I just, you know, I've been looking on Facebook Marketplace and stuff. You know, I'd like to find a better brand, maybe an older, something old that I know that no matter what, even if it's a little clapped out, I can actually work on it and you know, and get it up to you know, something that's completely usable for me. So, but anyway, so I'm using a hand drill for this. All right, we're through on that. I can't see. Let me get the light. Here we go. There we go. So we got 2 holes drilled. All right. Got a little tap magic here. That's awesome. I'm so excited about this. I just like to feel it snug up on that. All right. So we are good for the threads. Now, I'm just going to stick something down in there and then give her a little paint job. I'm just going to do rattle can on this because I know I don't have any corrosion or anything to worry about. I might clean it up with some acetone first. But I wanted to show you something. So this came in earlier than I was expecting. It came in today, but I don't know if you've ever used this Eastwood Rust Encapsulator Plus, or just their Rust Encapsulator. I kept getting ads for this on Facebook, and I finally gave in one day, and I bought me just a couple cans of the spray on, the spray can stuff, and it did, I mean, I think it did a fantastic job. So that's what I'm going to, on certain areas on this thing, I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to do a little wire wheel on it, and then I'm going to put this on there. Anywhere that I find that is rusting. All the bolts and stuff, though, that are rusting, I'm going to take those out and just replace them with, I guess, with stainless steel. So, so anyway, but I'm going to use this on that over there to try to clean up some of that rust. I might even try to get it onto the, just kind of tape it up and get it onto the, those gas struts for the windshield, just to keep those from corroding anymore. Because that just drives me nuts. I just don't understand that. So anyway, but yeah, so this is that Eastwood Rust Encapsulator. I ordered it off of Amazon, and it got here in, I don't know, 3 days. So anyway, yep. So let me clean this up a little, and then we'll spray it. All right. So let's. Just some high performance enamel. spraying upside down then. Oh, she's gonna run. She is gonna run. I'm okay with that. All right, so I've given it time to dry, and I applied, like I said I was going to, this rust encapsulator from Eastwood. I applied it on anywhere that just had rust. I cleaned it up with a Dremel tool and then applied that. I applied it over on the T-Boss also in a couple of areas. So let's go ahead and put the latch back on here. So let's see. It goes this way because when you're inside, you open it up that way. So grab the bolts. Yep, need 2 of those. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bolt in through here. So it'll fit down in there, and then I'll put the lock washer on that side. So there we go there. All right, let's... All right, that is on. All right, let's get it back onto the T-Boss. All right. So I ended up having to go around and do a lot of that rust encapsulator all over the place. I'll show you one of the places that really, really, I mean, it was horrible, and I might need to just pull the hardware out of that and replace it. Let me grab this. I just stuck these back in so I wouldn't lose them. Here on the back of the door, where these hinges actually mount to the door, these were just coated. I mean, they were horrible with rust on here. You know, they were corroded just extremely bad. And on the back side, also where the bolts go through, and then there's a nut on this side, it was just rust. I mean, it was terrible. So I cleaned those up, and then I put that rust encapsulator. I had to do it on both doors, and hopefully that's going to help keep these just kind of, you know, extend the life of them. I might end up going back and replacing these with some better hardware. I don't know, but I just can't. I mean, it was horrible. I don't know. It just was terrible. So let's get this on here. That's not good. That sucker got away from me. Had no clue. You know, anytime a screw falls, it's going to go into the absolute worst place it can. It can't ever just fall out right in front of you. All right, so here comes the true test of this. Let's see if it'll line up and hook into the latch. So okay, so something needs to be adjusted. So this was always my problem with this door, is that it just did not want to latch, and you kind of had to slam it to get the door to latch. See there. So there it went in. So this latch is sticking out this way. So that's not necessarily a problem with this. It's this piece is too far. What I'm latching to is too far that way. It's rubbing on this. I wonder. So this is part of the problem that I was having with this. Is that, so the rust was building back there. So it's not going to take a whole lot of heavy force. And you see how hard I've got to hit this to get it to go in. And this has always been the case. This added to it is that I'm hitting that with so much force that that rusted area just couldn't, it couldn't take the blunt of it, and it finally just wore out and broke off. So now I need to figure out, so this lines up actually perfect, but I mean, it lines up right there is perfect. In fact, this sucker, you can see, man, let me see if you can see this. Get a light over here. So you can see, right here where this is worn in from me shutting this over and over again. So this is at the same spot where it always originally was. Here's the wear. If I go to the other side, I'll come over here to the other side, where I've never had this problem at. And look at it. Let's compare. So you can see here that there's that little indentation is not here on this one. So this one fits just fine. It's that other door that actually doesn't fit right. So how do I fix that? See, this one will close just fine. And if you look inside, you can see here, my light will stay. You can see here there's a little bit of a gap, right here. So it's not shoved into it like that other side is doing. So how do we fix that? How do we fix that? I don't know. Think about this. Think about what options I have here. Yeah. I could take some of the metal off of that, you know. The side is really where I need that, you know, that's where that's connecting. So I could shave some of that down and get that. That's all it is. That's the problem right there. That is what exacerbated the issue with the rusted out welds, or the rusted out, I guess it was right there at the welds, but the rust that was on here, that caused that to go a lot quicker. You know, and everything on the hinge is I mean, that's where it's supposed to be. That's as far as it can go. So maybe this door frame was not right. I don't know. Interesting. Maybe these are the wrong. I mean, they look the exact same for this model. I might try to take some material off that, because no matter what I do, that's still going to be, even if I move this out, it's still rubbing that. Let me see. I think the only option that I have is to take some of that off. All right. I'm going to look at this and I'll get back with you. All right. You can see that, but I took that down a little. I don't think it's going to hurt this at all. You could probably just have this post come out, but then you'd probably hook, you'd probably snag that on your clothes and stuff when you're getting in. So it's better to have it just kind of round all the way across. So there's still enough material in there to, to keep it from doing anything and keep you from snagging. I tried to smooth it around as much as possible. So let's get this back on here. Come on. Oh, look at that. Fell right under my foot. Didn't have to go chase it. Must have heard me talking about it. Got upset. All right, come on. Get in there. It's still a little hot. That's why I'm wearing my gloves. All right. See how she does. Look at that. That's weird. See, this is, I don't know. It's weird, but that is, she's latched really good. There's like a second clip. Oh, look, no, come on. There. Okay. It's weird. She's in. I don't know what that was, but it seems to have resolved itself. I bet it'll show back up. But look at that. I got a door again. And a solid one. Man, that's awesome. All right. Well, I guess this is the end of this video. That turned out really well. Be careful when you do your welds. Make sure that you've thought about your amperage. Get that right, and you won't blow through any of the metal. You know, I do have a feeling that a small flux or, you know, wire would have probably been a little bit better for that. But, you know, that's, I was being lazy and didn't want to switch over to wire. So, but I probably won't do that again. If I do that other side, I'll switch out to wire. It's kind of a combination of laziness and, you know, just really not knowing how that was gonna go. But turning it down did a pretty good job. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 good welds on this across it, and then I filled when I fixed that hole with the JB Weld. I went ahead and just filled in all the cracks on that and that were left, and then you know, smooth that out just so it looked nice. I wanted it to look nice anyway. So anyway, but there you have it. Fixing the rusted out holes on the door. Again, this thing has been covered in it in certain places that I do not believe should be covered in rust. It just shouldn't be rusting. You know, this thing, I mean, it'll sit outside every once in a while, but it's garage kept a lot. I mean, this is, you know, and like I said, I've had it in the garage when I've had my wife's Volvo out in the driveway. And took some pretty bad hail damage on the car because of that. So I don't know. I don't know why that was like that. You know, these are put together in, I think, Garland, Texas, which is actually like, I don't even think that's 2 hours from me. Hour and a half, maybe. But I don't know how much they put together there, and, you know, and then send them to to wherever, you know, the dealership or the store, and have them build out the rest of it. So I don't know what Massimo is doing and what they're allowing their dealers to do, or what they're having their dealers do. Maybe my dealer was the one that put these together and used the wrong bolts in places. I don't know. You know, maybe they originally had, you know, something that is rust resistant, you know, for outside use that they, you know, that they were supposed to put in certain places and they just didn't. I don't know. But that's something that you might want to look at. You might want to be careful about with your T-Boss. Keep an eye on that. You know, I went through and used that rust encapsulator, and I put it on everywhere that, you know, I cleaned up the rust first. I don't even think you have to do that, but I did. I cleaned off the rust with a wire brush, a wire wheel on a Dremel, and then coated that all in that rust encapsulator. So hopefully that won't happen again. The bolts, like I think I showed y'all, I don't know if y'all saw it real well. This is a great example. These are the bolts. Let's see. These are the bolts that came out, and I hope you're seeing this. I'll do this. These are the bolts that came out of the driver's side, of the passenger side hinge that I took out. I went ahead and replaced those with stainless steel. Also, I'm trying to put it in front of the little window here, and that's not the camera, the lens. Here's the lens. So let me do that again for you and see if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that real well or not, but I mean, it is just, it's horrible looking. And some of this is not just surface rust. This up in here is actually eating away at the metal. So it's not just surface rust there. So that's something that you really need to look at and pay attention on yours. So I'm probably just going to go around as I see it and replace these. The ones on these are M6s, M6 by 1. So that's what, I don't know if everything else, I need to try that and test that out and see if everything else is that way. But like I said, I'm just going to go around and replace them probably with stainless steel, I guess. Unless someone leaves something in the comment that says, hey, this is better for that use instead of stainless steel, because stainless steel can get kind of expensive. But on these, I mean, they were like 30 cents a bolt or something. And that's, you know, I'll drop 20 bucks on bolts to take care of this and make sure that it doesn't cause any lasting issues. So anyway, yeah, so hey, thank y'all for watching. You know, I know that you could watch a lot of stuff, so I appreciate you spending your time watching this video with me. And, you know, kind of hope this helps some people out that are new to all this stuff like I've been, and just kind of helps you get through anything. Remember, whenever something like that happens, it's not the end of the world. If you're new to this, if you have something break like that, you're out of warranty, it's not the end of the world. I could have easily taken this down the street to a welder and had him fix it for me. I had plenty of options for that. So if you have something to break and you don't have a welder, you're not comfortable enough or dumb enough to do it yourself, you can easily take that to a welder. I mean, this was, you know, couple hours, so just think about a couple hours of labor for that, and they can fix this up for you. That's not an issue. So anyway, it's good to know that when you buy something like this, even if something's not covered under warranty, you can get it fixed if there's a problem. Hopefully there won't be. I mean, this was really the only this and the hood, right? This and the hood, getting the hood off, have been the only issues that I've seen, the rust and that on these bolts. I haven't seen them on I've seen some surface rust down there around the front axle and stuff. It's just surface rust. But I haven't seen any like major problems with rust except for when it comes to these bolts. So I don't know, you know, I bought this in 2023. So maybe the new ones, maybe Massimo has handled that and they've replaced them with better hardware. I don't know. But anyway, man, keep these things, you know, change your oil, put some good oil in it. I use Valvoline, full synthetic 4-stroke UTV, ATV oil. It's got the same ratings as the Massimo oil. If you look on that, it's got the exact same ratings as that. And I just like Valvoline. I know where their base oil comes from. And then I trust them on their additives. that bring that up to the specs that they need. So I use Valvoline, but you can use the Massimo. But just keep it, keep oil in it. Change the fluids out on it when it needs it, and grease your zerks, your grease fittings. I went around, and changed them all out to like 45 degrees, so they were easier to get to with my gun. And but I keep everywhere that's got a grease zerk, I keep that greased up, and just things like that will really extend the life of your UTV. So anyway, all right, well, I really appreciate y'all watching again, and hopefully, good Lord willing, I'll see y'all on the next one. Have a good one.